This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I, of course, am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 6 in the National Football League. Baltimore Ravens on the road, traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. And man, were we in for a rude awakening in this one or what? There's always a game where the scoring gets off to a quick start. You know, all the games start at 1 o'clock, and the game that you're watching in particular is happening, and maybe the team that has the ball first is on their third or fourth play of the game, and you look down at the bottom of the screen, and there's already a score in that game, and you're like, man, what happened there? Somebody must have returned the kickoff. That was this game, except it kept happening over and over and over and over again in the first quarter. So you look down and, oh, man, Baltimore got 7, man. Steve Smith might have got him for a deep ball, or maybe Jacoby Jones broke off a 89-yard or 101-yard kickoff return, or something happened in that game. Okay, that's cool. Let's see how Tampa Bay responds. And then you look down 2 seconds later, and it's 14 and like, damn, hey, is that a typo? Did they make a mistake? It's 14-0 in that game already? And then you look down, it's 21, and you're like, God damn, Tampa Bay, what are you doing? And then you look down again, and it's 28. You're like, man, that one's getting out of control fast, quick, and in a hurry. And then you look up, and it's 35, and you're like, man, that game is over. And they're only in the second quarter. So it was that type of game for the Buccaneers. If you're looking for a thorough breakdown of this game, you're not getting it here. This is going to be more of a commentary on the state of the Buccaneers. And I'm going to definitely talk about the Ravens and their dismantling of the Buccaneers in this game. But let me talk to the Buccaneers first, because this is something that has happened multiple times this season, and now this is embarrassing, is what it is. I mean, you can't do this at home. It's one thing to do it on the road with, Josh McCown as your quarterback and yada, yada, yada. Look, that one in Atlanta, that one, you saw that one coming. So I liken it to, I was a baseball player in high school, and, when you saw that 85-mile-an-hour fastball coming right at you, you knew you couldn't get out of the way, but you could brace yourself for the impact. You could try to get out of the way if you like, but you knew, okay, if it's going to hit me, at least let me clinch up, prepare myself for the inevitable. I'm going to take a plunk. At least I know it's coming. That's what that one against Atlanta was like. All right, maybe you didn't see it coming, maybe you did, but that one was justified. You could understand. On the road, Thursday night, no Gerald McCoy, Josh McCown stinks. Falcons got hot, returned a couple of kicks, things happened, boom, it got out of control. It happens. This one was at home. You're playing much better football. McCown isn't your starter anymore. It's now Mike Glennon's team, and he's playing confident football, giving you a chance to win, it seems like, each and every single week. So this one was out of the blue. So when this one happens, now you start questioning, did Lovie Smith and Jason Light pick the right players? That's number one. Number two, you start asking, do they have the pulse of this team? And number three, do they have the right scheme for the players that they went out and got? Because trust me, it's one thing when you come into a situation and you're not allowed to shop for the groceries right away. Lovie Smith took this job, and Jason Light came in, and they went immediately to the store. They already came to the house with a grocery list that was yay long. They already had a list of players that they wanted to go out and get. They already had a list of stuff that they were going to throw out. Okay, this is garbage. Put that in the trash. We don't need this anymore. Put that in the trash. We don't need him anymore. Let's get rid of him. So they already knew what they were going to do before they came in here. But now you're asking yourself, all of these pieces you went out and got, Clinton McDonald, you went out and got Alteron Werner, you went out and got all these players. Are they, Michael Johnson, are these guys fitting in? Are they making an impact in Tampa Bay? Are you getting the dividends of these guys that you thought you were going to get when you made the investment? I don't know if they're yielding that type of dividend or not. It doesn't seem to be that way. And I'm starting to question whether Lovie Smith understands what is needed of him in Tampa Bay. This isn't a team that's ready to go. He's going to have to build this thing from the ground. And This one, I didn't see this one coming. I thought that this was going to be a competitive football game. So I understand things happen, but this one was more like me standing in the batter's box expecting a curveball or something off speed, and I'm waiting for the curveball to break, and it never breaks, and I get hit. I wasn't expecting to get hit. I was waiting on that curveball to break, and it never broke. And so I got hit, and I didn't get to brace myself for it. Those hurt. Those ones hurt. So now, look, they all hurt the same, whether you brace for yourself for impact or you're not expecting it. The difference here was just we didn't see this one coming. And now I pose the question, are the Buccaneers at the point now where you start asking yourself, and look, I'm not implying that anybody needs to be fired or even if jobs are on the line, or even if we need that, but now you got to start asking yourself, does Lovie Smith have the pulse of this team? You don't get beat like this unless you're a bad football team. This Buccaneers team is a bad football team, but they're talented. You get beat like this when you don't have talent on your football team. When you see the Jacksonville Jaguars of 2 years ago that was talentless get beat and crucified, 48-13, bat an eye at that. You don't even blink. You say, oh, okay, yeah, that team, they're struggling. They don't have a quarterback. Blaine Gabbert's out there stinking it up. They don't have any talent, no receivers, nothing. Offensive line is in shambles. They can't stop anybody defensively. You don't even stop to think about why that happened. You just chalk it up to lack of talent. This Buccaneers team has talent. So to see what's happen to them on a consistent basis, you got to ask yourself, what's going on in Tampa Bay? I don't have the answer. I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong, and I don't know what the solution is, but something is definitely wrong in Tampa Bay, and they need to fix it and fix it fast because that was embarrassing. Because that was at home. It's one thing to have that done to you in somebody else's place. This one was bad. You know what? I felt like this was a situation where you're the big brother and your sister comes to you and tells you, somebody was picking with me at school. And so you go and you roll up on the guy that was messing with her and you say, hey, man, you've been messing with my sister? And they try to act all tough. And so, boom, you clobber them. You hit them and they fall down on the ground and you get on top of them and you just hit them. 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 And now you're at the point where you're like, hey, man, somebody should stop this guy. He might kill this kid. And your sister is screaming, stop! Stop! That's enough! Stop! Leave him alone! Stop! That's enough! And finally, she pulls you off and you get up. And you were in this haze. You blacked out and you were just pounding this kid. And he's all bloodied up and you leave the scene. And I felt like that's what this was. I was begging the Ravens to stop. Have mercy. Stop, Baltimore. That's enough, Baltimore. Stop. 5 touchdowns in the first 17 minutes of the game is enough. Stop. You don't have to score anymore. Leave them alone, man. Leave them alone. I felt bad for the Buccaneers. And normally I don't have any mercy on any team in this league. I felt bad. That was bad. That was real bad. Let's talk about the Ravens, though. Let's talk about the team that did the thumping in this game, that made it a bloody massacre, in the Baltimore Ravens. And you know what was funny? I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and he said, man, that was a good cup of Joe. I said, nope, that wasn't just a good cup of Joe right there. I said, that's average Joe. And you know why I said that's average Joe? Because he can do that all the time. And anybody that's been watching me for any period of time knows that I'm a huge Joe Flacco fan. I love Joe Flacco. And I'm with Joe through the ups, the downs, because Joe is the guy that you want with the football, with the game on the line. I love Joe Flacco. And we know about the arm talent and some of the things that he can do with the football that few, if any, can do in this league. But I told him, look, man, if the guys would just catch the football in Baltimore, Joe would be doing this on a weekly basis, not necessarily blowing teams out, but how many drops has Torrey Smith had this season? How many drops has Jacoby Jones had this season? How many drops has Steve Smith Sr. had this season? Guys are dropping the football, and Joe is putting the ball on the money. So Joe is playing good football. I love Joe Flacco. And you saw the best of Joe Flacco on display in this game. And this is what he can do when guys just simply catch the football. And the thing that I loved about this game the most was that he was spreading the ball around. Torrey Smith scored the first 2 touchdowns, and Then you had him just spreading up. Aiken gets a touchdown. Campanero gets a touchdown. Steve Smith Sr. gets. Everybody was getting involved. Everybody got a touchdown, man. You want one? You want one? And you want another one? Hey, Fiesta. Everybody, man. Party. Party, man. Touchdowns for everybody. And so this was, everybody got involved. Jimmy Smith with a pick early on to set up the second touchdown of the game. Justin Forsett with a huge 58-yard run to start the game off to get you down into the red zone for that first touchdown to Torrey Smith. Everybody got involved. Everybody had a part in this W. And if you're the Ravens, this is what you need to do. You need to build off of this win and continue playing. Because look, with the Cincinnati Bengals being banged up, and A.J. Green, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. You know, he could be out for the next 2 weeks or so. They're going to struggle offensively. I love Mohamed Sanu and what he brings to the table, but he's no young, fresh, and green. And so the way I see it, this division is up for grabs. And yeah, the Browns, they're not playing. The Steelers, they don't know who they are. I feel like the Ravens have a legitimate shot at climbing back into this thing and not just saying, hey, we that team in this division and taking the division back, but literally saying, hey, no, we want the Super Bowl back. We let the Seahawks borrow it for a year. We want that thing back. Now, the way the defense is playing, if they could just get healthy, get something out of their cornerback position. And Jimmy Smith, I love Jimmy. Jimmy needs to stay healthy. What about Ladarius Webb? Can Ladarius Webb stay healthy? If we could I need him to not only stay healthy, but get back to the old Ladarius Webb. I don't know if that guy exists anymore or not, but you need guys to step up. The secondary is the only thing I worry about in Baltimore because that front seven is destructive. They do big things. And if that secondary can match what the front seven is doing, this is going to be a scary team. The running game is doing enough with Justin Forsett, Lorenzo Taliaferro, and Bernard Pierce slowly coming back from that concussion. I think the running game will be fine. They'll do enough. Joe Flacco and all those targets. This is a scary team. And this beatdown was a notice to the rest of the AFC North that, look, man, if you're not careful, we'll take out this division and win this whole entire thing. And so this was a beautiful win, 48-17 on the road versus. This is what you do to bad football teams. Let me repeat that. This is what you do to bad football teams. If they don't want it, you take it and give it to them over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what you did in this game. 48-17 is the final score. Huge win for the Ravens. I love it. Keep it up, as now the offense starting to match the level of dominance of the defense. So that's going to do it for Baltimore Ravens at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me, as I've got a couple more games to break down in week number 6 in the National Football League. See you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.